Congratulations.
Welcome.
I went to a grad party.
That was weird.
I went to a grad party, and then I went home and edited 2 podcasts, uploaded them, printed the scripts.
Well, that's a first.
Went to a baseball game.
2 in 1, baby. All right, let's get this. Roll the intro.
I hope this isn't a lame show.
What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for watching
Moral Dilemma.
Eric just butchered that entire intro because he talked to the entire
I
thing.
liked it.
Hey, I can edit it in post. My name is
It's
Ryan.
overlapping the music. Well, I guess you can mute him.
My name is Ryan,
Yeah, he can mute
My
me.
name's Logan.
My name's Eric.
My name is Dan.
and we are
no.
no, I'm kidding. Don't do
Moral
it.
Dilemma.
Moral Dilemma. Thank you so much for being with us.
You think there's people still watching us or listening to us?
Yeah, actually, when I was editing today on Podbean, we got a badge for 2,000 downloads.
Really?
Yeah, of all time.
Sweet.
I keep there's,
And
there's,
our last-
there's notifications that people are liking and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Thank
so.
you.
On pod,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Also, I want to bring this up.
I have
didn't even
family
mention
members.
this.
I have
We have
family
been
members that
doing
watch.
this podcast for over a year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. And we're still here.
We're still here, and like,
And I still have a job.
and I
Sorry, that was a little too
it
loud.
got a little dicey. We were kind of like, but Eric still has a job.
Yeah, it's at 75% that made you nervous. And it's like, man, if it was like 70, maybe it'd be okay. But
Is
I
that
pushed
allowed?
through.
We allowed to talk about that on the podcast?
I don't know why not.
So
Maybe.
Eric, we're not going to say the name of our church, even though that everyone who listens to this podcast probably goes to our church.
You can look it up.
But
search
Eric just was voted to be the future senior pastor of our
Yeah.
church. So,
No,
In 3
I'll-
years.
I'm going
Hyphen-
to change the name to lead pastor. I don't want to be senior.
I mean, you're going to be senior in my heart.
Eric, okay, fine.
Sorry,
Eric's
buddy.
going to be junior pastor.
How about senior pastor?
Yeah. Well, I
But anyway,
appreciate it.
we're glad about that.
Mick
I was
pastor.
super stressed about that.
And thanks to 2 of the people here voted for me. The other, 3 people voted for me. Adam voted for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which.
I was on
I'm
the
not sure
team
which-
that helped you get the vote.
Yeah,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
not sure which Adam voted for me, but one of the Adams here.
One of the
voted.
Adams, yeah.
I don't know if it was Adam Armsworth or who it was.
Dan was outside picketing
No,
before.
no, actually,
Don't let-
Dan is not a member of the church, so he couldn't vote.
He
But
was trying to burn it down.
there was other things that I did to make sure
Oh, really?
what we needed to happen.
You pulled some strings? Flying under the radar, huh?
He's the puppet
You
master.
didn't use any intimidation, did you?
And that is
There-
how you lose your job.
There may be a few people who had to be persuaded to go one way or the other, but
Wow.
you know,
Well, I was hoping for a 90%. Could you have just made sure?
he didn't want to draw too much suspicion. He had to
Exactly.
make it just right.
How much money you got, man?
Let's just say Dan got his hands dirty.
a little bit.
Filthy.
I did not give him any money to do anything. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, Shelly paid him.
I had no idea of Dan's actions.
Shelly was like, we just got this new house. If Eric doesn't get this job, we're going to have to move again. I got to pay Dan. It's come to that. I've got to pay the best hitman in town.
That's not the reason why you got a new chainsaw.
Yeah. You know what they say? If you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Anyway, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
It's good to have Logan back. Logan hasn't been on a podcast and our podcast in forever.
Yeah,
And I
traitor.
swear, Logan, I know what you're thinking. The cogs are turning. You're about to place your own podcast.
Above the needs of this podcast.
I would never.
He's going to do a plug. He's going to do a plug.
I would never promote my podcast
That's right.
on my podcast.
Don't you dare.
which is the name of. No.
No, you can if you want
Well,
to.
what is it called?
Brush Buddies podcast.
Just mute it and post. It's
Give
okay.
us
Is it
a
just for
listen.
boys or who is it for?
Just
What do you mean
for
just
the
for
boys?
boys?
Yeah, it's a Brush Bros. So I didn't know if it's,
Oh,
it's
Brush
It's called
Buddies.
Brush Buddies.
buddies.
So, I mean,
Brush Bros Incorporated.
Brush Buddies
Sorry, I
in
totally
like
messed that up.
the real world is fine, but like if people in prison hear this, like
Yeah.
I don't know how that translates.
Yeah, we looked up a lot of Urban Dictionary Brush Buddies and we're good. So
That's good for now
How many
until you spark
episodes
something.
have you guys recorded?
we've recorded 6,
And released how many?
3.
3.
So it's kind of hard since we're all so far apart. So we recorded as many as we could. We were at school. We started the last 2 weeks of school and recorded 6 episodes. So when it'll pick back up, we go back to school.
So the whole idea is to talk about stuff that you normally talk in the bathroom while you're brushing your teeth.
Yeah, me and my 3 buddies, we live in dorm setting, so we all brush our teeth at night and
That's
we
cute.
have
That's
fun
good.
conversations.
Well,
and
since we endorsed your podcast, then we expect the same at your podcast.
oh yeah, you're on it.
Have you guys
Yeah,
have already discussed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to that one.
Moral Dilemma may have supplied all of our audio equipment, so yeah. You definitely got a shout
Well,
out.
as we've upgraded, they get the hand-me-down stuff,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
isn't always the greatest, but
Yeah, I'm not
Hey,
a techie guy.
it got
so-
us our start.
It
well,
did.
yeah. Well, they're even going farther than anyways.
Yeah, I'm not a very techie guy, so I'm trying to do the audio.
I've
and
gotten a lot of
everything.
FaceTime calls over the last
Yeah.
couple of months.
Episode 2 has a bad buzz through the whole thing, but I can
Bad
hear you
buzz.
messing with your mic. But
Poor connection.
no, it's user error.
Oh.
It's a learning curve for me.
okay.
But
It's
our first 3 are really well. Yeah, it's what it sounds like the whole time.
Now, if you're a good
Sounds
editor,
like you're
you can get
using
rid of
an
that.
electric brush.
Well, yeah, we put in sound gates.
That's not a bad idea.
We put in sound
Someone
gates
was
and
just
stuff,
in the background
Noise reduction.
actually brushing their teeth.
noise reduction, sound gate stuff, and it's.
There's some stuff you can't.
Did you
get
use a
rid
de-esser?
Well, we're also using
DS.
GarageBand, so that doesn't help.
De-esser's got GarageBand has some good plugins. You can get free ones too.
Yeah, well,
Pirate Bay.
check us out on social media. We've got a cool Instagram page. So.
Already shut down because of that. Anyway, want to kick this episode off?
Sure.
We actually went into this kind of blind today, but Dan saved our butts, and I don't know how we didn't think of this. It's a great topic. It's almost summer.
So that's why he's
June
our
21st.
number one guest.
Is that the official start of summer?
It's the official start of summer solstice.
Can I
It's
announce
halfway
the
in
topic?
between-
Yeah. Do you know what the topic is?
Why should we be buying cryptocurrency right now?
All right, Logan, I'm glad you asked. So I have no desire to do a podcast like that.
No, that would
A
be the
finance.
worst.
But I do have Dogecoin.
Oops.
Does anyone else have Dogecoin here?
Isn't
No.
that the thing that doesn't really matter?
What do you mean?
It was like something that was
So
like
it
anti.
started out as a meme,
Yeah.
just to make fun of Bitcoin, and then Elon Musk bought like $7 billion worth,
Yeah.
and now it started off as like 0.0003 cents, and now it's like consistently around 40 cents a share, which is not a lot, but based on how little it started out as, like I put in some money, and
Do you get a return?
yeah, I still have it in there.
It's just like stocks.
If it reaches $1, I'll be making a decent amount of money compared to what I put in.
So what'd you put in?
I put in $150.
Ryan's Robin password is Bamboo Lover 337.
How much have you got? How much
So if you guys
dividends
want
have
to
you
check
got
out his
so far?
portfolio, you
Let me
can-
check. It's kind of a roller coaster.
Yeah, because you have to take it out, right, to get the money.
yeah, just like yeah.
So
So
I'm
you haven't gained anything right
Ryan,
now.
you
It's
realize
just
we're
on
No,
talking
I
about
ha-
what
it's
you
just on paper.
dream
yeah.
you'd
So
never talk
technically,
about.
if I sold right now, I would be making money. I bought at 22 cents a share, and I'm only up $26 right now. But it did hit 70 cents, and I was like double and
you
a half my
almost
money.
were tempted to sell.
I was, but I'm holding until it
And
hits
that's
$1.
really what you should do: is sell when it's high, and then buy back when it's low.
Exactly. I should have.
like stocks.
Looking back on it, I should have sold at 70. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically how it's working. It's
Yeah.
like stocks. So.
Not always though. You don't always want to sell out whenever.
But in this case, I should have.
Because the compounding growth you'd have if you kept it at 10 and you bought it at 10 cents, went to $1 would be a lot more than if
Yeah.
you sold it at
Yeah.
$1 and then bought it back down at 40 and it goes up to like $70.
But Elon Musk announced, because he was on SNL, and he tweeted after that he paid for a
Wait.
satellite
He's-
mission.
He said this on SNL. And
No, he was on SNL, and then he tweeted about it
okay,
after.
sorry.
But he funded a satellite mission that he's launching into space with Dogecoin. He's
Really?
naming it the Doge 1.
Just
And
Dogecoin.
I'm thinking that it may spike when that happens and it gets popularity. So
Hey Ryan, do you ever think about we might be promoting a pump and dump and we could get arrested?
everyone pump.
Pump it louder.
Anyway, today's topic is about summer. We love summer.
and everything else.
Yeah, you want to start with movies?
Sure.
Dan, you have a list, right? I made a list. I have a very specific like genre that I
Yeah.
basically only watch around summertime.
Horror movies.
No, horror movies. That's mainly like
I
October.
thought you said hormones. I was like,
hormones. Yes.
This day and age, yeah.
Dan, what is your summer movie
Well,
list?
You know, I should have made a list, but I didn't. I was thinking of a few.
Just
and
have
now,
someone off the top.
now I'm just backtracking.
Because I have a list that I could read while you think.
I'll tell you one. that
well,
I'm
yeah,
looking
go ahead.
forward
Go
to.
ahead.
It's Dunes, right? Coming out this summer.
Dune. Okay, so are we talking about things we're looking forward to right now? Dune is definitely one that I'm looking forward to.
It's this summer, right?
Yeah, it's in June.
I just
think.
wanted to make sure. Is it this June?
That's one I
Oh,
definitely
man,
want
I'm
to go to the
stoked.
theater and see.
Yes, I'm
any
gonna
listener that's listened to this podcast at all knows that
Dune.
I'm a theater person.
Oh, never mind. I was super wrong. October. Never
No,
mind.
really.
Yeah, maybe it got pushed back
I'm
because
so
I thought
mad.
it was in June.
So what is
I think
coming
a
out
lot of
this summer?
stuff's getting
Being pushed back. So what is
Movies.
coming out this summer?
Frick. It's on HBO Max. They're premiering it on HBO Max.
I'm not going to go see it. I don't want to go see that.
Well,
I mean,
are they going to let us see
Mortal
it in
Kombat
theaters?
was sitting at home watching it. That was decent. I mean, it was terrible, really, but I wouldn't go to the movie theater for Mortal Kombat.
All right, here's a
I had
list
to
of
watch
movies.
Kong, and I'd watch Kong v Godzilla at home, and that was
Oh,
kinda
there's some
sad.
interesting ones this
It
summer.
was awesome
actually.
seeing that in IMAX.
I had to watch it in my dorm room, but that was better because all my boys were there, but like my kids.
This summer we have Black Widow.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that. Cruella, like the Dalmatians
Nah.
spinoff.
It'll be okay.
The Suicide Squad. Is that a new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out?
That's
Is that really coming out?
Yeah, it looks like it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
got
didn't even know about that.
Sylvester Stallone as the shark guy, Shark Man.
And it's directed by James Gunn.
Is that what that guy's called?
I think you're talking about Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
No.
Great movie.
You should see the trailer for. Have you not seen the trailer for
Not
Suicide
yet.
Squad?
We'll have to watch it after
It's
this.
good. We should have watched it before we did this.
We also have Space Jam: A New Legacy coming out July 16th.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll watch
Can't
it.
replace Michael Jordan.
True. And then A Quiet Place Part 2 comes out.
I'm
Summer.
excited for that.
Yeah.
I saw a good rating for that.
Yeah, I've
8
on
out of 10.
Letterboxd. Some people I have on there got
So
like
is it in
press
theaters
And
passes.
now?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I saw a little tidbit of video where he was at John Krasinski went to movie theaters. Like he held the movie until they can go into theaters.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's true. I meant to look it up to see, but it sounded like he was telling the audience like he was holding the movie back until he was able to everyone watch it in theaters.
I think Quiet
kinda
Place was really. If you haven't seen Quiet Place, you owe it to yourself to go see it because it's
It's
one of those
pretty good.
movies that. What I liked about it, the jump scares were there, but they weren't there just to scare you. They served a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, it
And
was
the way they told the story through the young girl that couldn't hear,
Yeah.
those silent moments were probably some of the coolest moments.
Oh yeah.
in the
No, it
movie.
was super.
Well, you know what? That movie that came out, The Invisible Man, not
Yeah.
too long ago, that movie had great jump scares, but they spoiled it all in the trailer.
That's what I heard.
If you watch the
Heard you say
trailer, all of the main jump scares,
Yep.
you knew
That,
exactly where they were.
I totally saw it coming.
Yeah.
What's it called? Shang-Chi?
Oh, the 10 Rings.
buddy.
Yeah.
That comes out this summer.
I didn't hear you.
I
say
thought that
He was
came
talking
out in the
about the
fall.
Invisible Man.
Oh, I should
I
have seen
said,
it
I
coming.
said,
It probably comes out later.
It's coming out in September.
oh, come on.
Okay.
That was worth more
No,
than
wait,
that.
wait. That,
Wait, one
that
sec,
still
one sec.
counts as summer.
It does,
doesn't it?
but
Second here,
Dan,
buddy. Everybody
yeah.
look right here. Oh, there you go.
Say it again. Say it again. Logan, see what you're saying.
I don't even
The Invisible Man. You saw the trailer.
watch The Invisible Man, the spoiler the trailer spoiled everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really saw it coming.
Dan, you animal. You dog.
For those of you who can't see, I just Men in Black flashed these guys twice.
Oh, I didn't like the way you worded that.
Hey,
Their clothing is a dark
in
material.
post, you should just bleep out Men in Black. I just flashed these guys.
I just men flash these
But
guys.
then he's going to have to edit that too right there. And what I just said there.
Anyway,
And that.
here's my list of movies that I will always associate with summer.
Yeah.
And it's those coming of age movies,
Oh,
group
yeah.
of kids. So I wrote down The Goonies, E.T., Super 8, Stand By Me.
Super 8 was a really good movie.
I love that movie.
I need to
And
watch it. It's been a
it
while. since
kind
I
of
watched it.
tanked.
It did tank? Really?
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
didn't do
yeah.
well at all.
Oh,
I don't know
thought that
why.
was good.
It's basically.
It brought that 80s feel to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I thought was kind of cool.
And another thing, I love watching Stranger Things
yeah,
in the
'cause
summer.
of the easy
I know
80s.
it usually comes out in October on Halloween, but I
Would it be cool to? Would you like to
binge-watched it.
see Stranger Things adapted? Like take the first season and make it into a movie?
I know.
No,
I think I wanted to stay.
I think that they could probably edit that some to make it like a 2
I mean, it's basically
movie.
structured like a movie.
Yeah,
Like I mean, it basically carries over, but I feel like that kind of shines as a
sure. Yeah, I
standalone
understand.
series. I also have Back to the Future 1 on here. That's just summer to me. Last summer, actually, you may have been there. Or was that Corey? We were camping, and Jeff Harbison, who was on this podcast, brought his projector and watched Back to the Future
Oh, I remember hearing the stories.
in the
about it.
woods. It was awesome.
Everybody wanted to watch it, and then Jeff was just watching it by himself.
I watched it.
You and Jeff were
Yeah,
watching.
me, Jeff, and Corey. And then Ferris Bueller's Day
Where
Off.
were you?
I was there with Will Heft.
but
Yeah.
you weren't watching the movie
Yeah, it was.
Snake Eye.
because he complained about I remember him sharing. We'll have to have Jeff back on, but he was
Yeah,
like,
we'll have to dig into this conspiracy.
yeah, because that was the night he also roasted our podcast. It was that same camping
That was a
trip.
very
Well,
monumental.
We clarified that. We cleaned
Yeah.
that up last time.
we
he was on
cleaned
here.
that crap up.
Yeah, that Jeff wasn't the culprit in that. It was all you guys started the process, and he just
I'll never forget the
Well,
podcast.
didn't he throw Logan under the bus?
No, I'll talk about when I got thrown under the bus.
Uh-oh.
I got thrown under the bus on this podcast. I listened to it at school on the episode where you
What
were
up?
talking about how I hated Hulk.
And then Dan, the next
And then-
episode came in.
And then Dan came in and was like, what do you think about Logan said this? And Ryan was like, Logan said this and this and this. And Dan was like, that idiot.
Logan's an idiot.
I don't feel like I don't remember saying that exactly.
But I did not
Pretty much
say
summed
any
it
of
up.
that. I said Hulk was handicapped, but Ryan was like, Logan didn't like the way that Hulk was portrayed as a scientist. And I was like, oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the Eep Man movies?
Eep?
no.
Oh, IP? I haven't.
oh, yep.
Oh,
is that?
IP.
My roommate likes them, but there's like, let me go on Letterboxd.
There's like 4 or 5.
Oh man, I think there's more than that.
Yep, man.
Oh, I've only seen up. I don't know. Maybe that's just on.
Well, I thought about watching those this summer just because I like.
Did anybody go with Jeff to watch that movie that he was asking us to?
No,
watch?
because it was yesterday it was on Friday.
Friday.
Eep Man 2.
What was the movie he was
Eep Man
asking?
3.
Wrath of Man.
Wrath of Man.
Eep
Oh,
Man
yeah.
4.
Well, who's in that? Jason Statham?
Yeah.
Someone else?
Eep Man: The Final Fight. Eep Man: The Legend Is Born.
I
No
haven't-
one's seen Eep Man.
No.
They all have 4s on Letterboxd.
I'll have to add that to my next summer
That
list.
was one. IP Man. That was one that Dave Betts suggested to me years ago.
Mm.
I also
That's
want
a
to
long
watch
time
the movie
ago.
The Sound of Metal because I'm a
Oh,
drummer and I've
yeah.
heard that's really good.
That movie won some awards. At
You got
the Grammys.
you got Snake Eyes coming out too. G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do
that's
a
gonna
music.
suck.
Maybe I'll do a music spree. I'll watch Whiplash, The Sound of Metal.
School of
I'll
Rock.
do School of Rock.
Have you seen Whiplash?
Mhm.
Oh, have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I
No,
watched it
I
a few
haven't
weeks
seen
ago.
it.
I'll do Whiplash.
The last
So
scene was
I'll do La La
worth
Land.
watching it for that last scene.
I'll do La La Land. I'll do
Oh.
Hamilton.
I've never seen La La Land.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on La La Land.
Good?
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm gonna do this summer. I'm gonna
I've
do a
seen it
music
so
spree.
many-
Now, do you like The
times.
Greatest Showman?
Yeah. I can watch
I'm
The
sorry,
Greatest
the
Showman there.
music in
the
Greatest
soundtrack's
Showman.
awesome.
You
Yeah.
could
Did
add
you think
all
it
the
was
Disney
cheesy?
movies, kind of.
I didn't think it was cheesy.
I like
thought it was really
cheesy
good.
when it comes to musicals, though. But that
Okay,
just
I'm
didn't have
putting La La
it didn't
Land
have a
on
good
my-
story to me. It
Really?
was just kind of thrown around.
Thrown around.
Yeah.
What is?
Well, and it got a lot of slack too because a lot of people think he was kind of a not very good person
Yeah.
by taking advantage of the people and
What
what I mean?
movie?
But Greatest Showman.
Oh,
Even historically, a lot of people say he was great, and then a lot of people say he wasn't.
Yeah.
But, so it just depends on how you look at it. I
Most
guess.
people have two sides of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, really.
I feel like he's the kind of actor. Well, like Hugh Jackman, he's the kind of character that like or person that would have like this huge laundry list of things that like he wants backstage. You know what I mean?
I think
To
he's
me,
a
he
perfect
seems
guy.
really down to earth. Like,
You think so?
This is going to sound horrible. I'm still going to sound horrible. I'm so sorry. I apologize to you. But like if you look at his wife or whatever, she's not like the stereotypical actors.
Okay. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She looks
Was she
like
famous?
I don't think so, but she just
No.
looks like an average lady that you would see at their
Walmart.
At a flea
their
mar-
Walmart
at a
or
flea
whatever.
market.
I mean, she's an attractive lady, but she's not dolled up, glamorous.
Yeah.
She doesn't
Yeah.
look like
I see what you're
she's
saying.
high.
I don't even think
um,
he stays
high
in Hollywood
maintenance.
too much, does he?
I mean, he lives in
Okay.
Australia.
Well, I apologize,
So
Hugh Jackman.
but maybe not. Maybe he's a.
But I mean, here at the
maybe he's
church,
a
we had,
dingo.
I mean, I won't use any names or anything. We had some bands come here that just
Yeah.
had outrageous
Yeah.
lists of things like white
Yeah.
towels or like a couch, like a bowl of peanut M&Ms and like just insane.
Wasn't allowed to have certain
There-
collars.
There's a lot of
Insane
them,
stuff.
but I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be optimistic in that though, Law, because I can imagine when all you do is you travel around and you do that.
But
I
this
mean,
band
there's-
I'm thinking
there's
of, like,
only
really?
Well, I know there's
probably-
some things, but man, it'd be so hard that you're constantly on the go that
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of just need it brought to you. Otherwise, you're gonna be out traveling all day in a strange town,
Yeah.
trying to find things that
I don't
makes you
blame
feel
'em.
comfortable.
Or to Logan's point, just do
So-
without.
yeah. I don't know. Like I
Well,
can't.
what's the part that the first shall be last and the last shall be first? What part of that are they following?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
There, I saw the writer, like the paperwork for
Tech writer, yeah.
a couple bands several years ago when John did the music for Jesus Fest in Clarksburg,
Yeah.
and I got to read the writer for a pretty popular heavier rock Christian band,
Korn.
and it was that way. It was
Slipknot.
like so many Red Bull per person per day, and
Dude,
specific
I don't blame them.
specific types of
do it.
food, specific brands, and
I read somewhere.
I mean, I can
wanna
understand
say-
certain things, but like if that list goes on and on,
some
and on,
people do it though. You think some people do it because they know they're like, well, I'm a celebrity. They're going to get me.
I wanna
It's
That's what I was
say
getting at.
it's-
I
some
thought-
music.
I think too, like on some things, because there were some things that like they had on the list and they didn't touch. So I can see that too, being like, it's never. How do you do this? Okay, you sit down before each show and say, well, I think I want this and this. You plan. They almost just have a standardized
Yeah.
this, and if they use it all, they use it all. If they don't, they don't. But these are the things that they know that they would like to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, they don't get to it. Because I can't imagine sitting down there. What do you think you want to have for that show next month?
Well, right.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll want some M&Ms. You know what I mean? Like they can't do that.
Well,
so they
I
just, like,
read that,
standardize everything. and then-
AC/DC, when they used to tour, in their write or whatever for what they wanted backstage, they would always put that they want a bowl of peanut M&Ms with the brown ones taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that
See
they
if
actually,
they actually
read
read
it.
it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought that
that's
was cool.
true. And I know some celebrities, they have like crazy requirements. I mean, it's like exotic animals in their room, and
Oh,
like it
yeah,
has to be a
that-
certain
Yeah.
Really? Are you
temperature. The
serious?
water has to
Exotic
be a certain
animals.
temperature, and it's just
temperature. I think of Elf.
like, yeah.
I need this kind of car with a cabin of exactly 72 degrees. One off. I'm like,
But you know, some of the celebrities, I think it's just a little ego trip. You know what I mean? When
Some,
If you're asking for a white striped tiger in your room before you go on stage,
What
And-
actor in your mind do you think has the most technical tech write-up?
Peter Dinklage.
like? You mean like ridiculous?
Who
bet
strikes you
Tom
as an actor who
Cruise.
just Tom Cruise?
Oh
that's a good
yeah,
one.
his is probably insane. Like
and
three
then-
monks singing in the
seems
corner.
like
or
he has a
something
little
crazy
edge
like
to
that.
him. Anytime you bring up Scientology, he gets a little. Upset.
and here's the thing
Yeah.
for me is, and this is why like I'm
Jim
gonna
Carrey.
be optimistic
yeah.
on that because you read that and you're like, oh man, but then if you get to meet the people, you realize well they're not like that way. Now I'm sure there are some bands that you see that tech writer and you're like, are you serious? And then you meet them and you're like, I can see that matching. You know,
yeah.
it's ridiculous, but the people are good, down to earth, got people, and so I don't know. I hate to. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey would be bad.
Jim Carrey would,
He's
yeah.
kind of like out of his mind anyway,
Well-
so he'd be like, I want 4 white blank canvases to where I can go.
Wonder what
Well,
his
he's
acting
also
was
he's
like.
also a method actor, and I bet that for certain movies and stuff, he'd just ask for crazy stuff just because he's in
Yeah.
character.
I just read the article where
Jared
Martin
Leto?
Freeman, Watson,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he slammed method acting, and in particular like that. He just like I can't understand how you would lose yourself in that. I can understand losing yourself between action and cut.
Yeah.
He basically just slammed all that. Like, as far as an acting to have to go that
Like
way.
a
You should be
technique.
basically you should be good enough to where I don't know. Like it was a neat article. But
It
he was
almost
slamming
it almost goes back to it goes way back before then, but Andy Kaufman
yeah.
which is
made
what
that
that
kind of famous in the
Which that's
60s
what
or whatever.
that's what he was referring to because Jim Carrey did that and he was that Andy Kaufman who was nuts anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
On camera and off camera.
Christian Bale's
So-
a method actor, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's a method actor. He just goes hard though.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a method actor and
I mean, a
just
method
going
actor
hard?
is like Jared Leto is a method actor, and when he did
I don't like him.
Suicide Squad, he literally just would do the nastiest crazy.
Oh, I read
stuff
stuff
just
about
to
that.
be
He
in
would like
character.
send his cast members like pee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
and
you're
you
that
don't really know
character
how
off
true that
screen.
really. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
true.
sometimes that I
You're
think
you're
people
that
kinda
character off screen.
make stuff.
So there's
Gotcha.
no cut for you. It's all action.
Yeah.
Now, probably like Christian Bale. Now he just starved himself or gained weight.
The Machinist
that's
versus
just
Dark
getting
Knight.
himself prepared.
That's so scary. That's so
Yeah.
scary.
Well, Hugh Jackman did it too for Les Mis.
Right. Yeah. But that's not. I'm just trying to help. That method acting is you act like that character
Yeah.
off
All the
screen.
time.
Gotcha.
But like these other people, they're just transforming their bodies to prepare for that
Yeah.
necessary, character.
Maybe
body.
Dan's a method actor, but
Dan's been in character for the last
But-
like 40 years.
so what's the real
Well,
Dan? When
not
have you
even
seen the
40
real
yet.
Dan?
Not
then?
40.
I saw the real Dan when we filmed the thing with Storm and Norman, the Rule video. I think that was the real
Yeah,
Dan.
that was real me. I only come out once every couple years.
Leroy Jenkins.
I'm about as real as you can get.
Can we talk about TV shows now?
Do you guys want me to do my movie list?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
waiting
sure.
for dance movies, and we can talk
It
about
is
TV
Dan's
shows
topic,
too.
Sorry,
by the
man.
way, so
Sorry,
he
man.
should share.
I want to talk about TV shows too, though.
That's
But-
all right.
all right, so here's my summer list, which is it's kind of like Ryan's list. It's like coming of age, young kind of. So my first one was Stand By Me.
Oh man,
That's like I
that's
love
just like a summer movie.
watching
Like
that
it-
movie in the
Rascal
summertime.
Flatts did a good
It's
song with
so good. I love that movie, and it's if you like, there's like 8 movie stars in that movie, like the cast
yeah.
wise. I mean, there's so many good actors in that. The same with oh my gosh, I
another
just forgot.
coming-of-age movie?
Yes, it's the movie. It's the book that every kid reads in 8th grade. The girl was 12 when she wrote it. The
Boxcar
Outsiders.
Children?
The
Oh.
Outsiders, which is a great book, great movie.
Boxcar Children still have.
Others.
I was gonna say, I was
I
like,
loved the Boxcar
Ryan
Children.
didn't bite on that one.
Summer movie, and I usually always watch it around July 4th. Sandlot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always watch that movie. That's one of my like favorite one-liner movies.
Yeah.
There's so many good one-liners in that movie.
What's the marshmallow thing?
The mallow.
the
yeah.
mallow.
You put
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he's like,
mallow
"You want some
on
more?
the ground.
How can I have some more if I haven't had it yet? You're killing me, Smalls." Is that possibly the most quoted movie line of all time? You're killing me, Smalls. I mean, like in
It's up there, I'd
reference.
say.
I'll Google it. I'll Google most.
I mean, how many times you working with someone and they're like, "You're killing me,
This
Smalls."
is Sparta. I feel like so many people have no idea where that comes from, but say it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
I'd say number one is going to be Luke, I'm your father.
which is the number one misquoted movie line of all time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Or
no,
not
I
even
am your
accurate.
father.
you have no power here.
You have no power. Yeah, that's a good one too.
But You're Killing Me Smalls, I think is like the more common,
Yeah.
like used in all kinds of situations.
Yeah. All right, I'll keep going on my list.
That's what she
You
said.
mentioned Goonies, so I got that on my list too. Every summer I watch Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like, because those are just, I love those movies. E.T. is another one. Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
And then
Something strange.
I seem to always watch, I'm a big John Candy fan. I love John Candy movies. I think he was kind of like the Chris Farley before the Chris Farley.
Uncle Buck.
And so I have Uncle Buck on there and The Great Outdoors with Dan
Great
Aykroyd.
Two movies that I've never seen.
Great Outdoors, I would say, is probably the best, one of his best movies.
Yeah. And because, any movie like camping or going in the wild,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's great.
RV too. I didn't say RV.
Oh, yeah.
RV summer movie.
But the Great Outdoors is probably there's so many different lines in that movie. That
There
just
is.
makes me
And
laugh.
can I
And there's different scenarios that they put themselves.
Oh yeah, and can I say The Great Outdoors probably has one of the best Easter eggs or movie mistakes in it ever? Because when I think this is when you watch it on the widescreen version now, right when they come back, have you ever seen the movie?
No.
Right when they come back from eating the old 96er, he eats a 96-ounce steak,
Yeah.
and he wins like a T-shirt and stuff. So he comes back and they all walk into the cabin and he goes, "Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick." And you hear him out. You hear him go to the bathroom and you see Dan Aykroyd and the other two women walk with him. And on the regular format movie, you hear John Candy go like "Bleh," and throw up, and they come running out. But on the widescreen version, you can clearly see them standing off camera, and you hear John Candy talking, and you can clearly see Dan Aykroyd count 1, 2,
No way.
3, and then they turn and run away.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's on screen, totally on screen, and you can see it. And I love that. I think that's
Yeah,
just
that's cool.
hysterical because for a second you get to see them out of character.
I love
So-
the part where the guys got struck by lightning. He's like,
Yeah.
I got struck 7 times.
Yes.
77 times.
Yeah, because the guy at like the little tavern says, it's Willie or something. He's like, if you see Willie running, you better hide for cover.
And in the movie, he gets it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
so this is the American Film Institute. It had, I think, 100 years, 100 movie quotes. Number 1, anyone want to take a guess?
Wait
Star
one sec.
Wars.
Let me think.
Is it
I'll
be
tell you
back.
what. A lot
Gone
of
with the
these
Wind?
are-
I'll be
It's
back.
Gone with the Wind.
Frankly, my dear,
I
I
don't-
don't give up.
Say it.
Ham.
I don't give a Sam.
And then number 2,
Luke.
Godfather.
I'll make him an
I'm
offer.
gonna make an offer,
Can't
can't
refuse.
refuse.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm assuming because these are older movies,
Yeah.
they've been in the world longer.
People are old.
But then 3
It's Toy Story.
On the Waterfront. You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender.
I could have been a contender.
Somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am.
Fight Club too. Could be one.
Wizard of Oz. Toto. I have a feeling we're not in
Kansas anymore. That line,
Casablanca, number 5.
I talk about that in school when we talk about idioms and figurative language. That line from Wizard of Oz now is not just a movie line; it's an accepted idiom. Like people say, "We're not in Kansas anymore." They're not referring to Wizard of Oz; they're referring to the fact that something's happening or something's going wrong. So that's kind of neat.
Casablanca. Here's looking at you, kid.
Yeah.
Sudden impact. Go ahead and make my day.
Here's to you, kid.
Sunset
I'm ready for
Boulevard.
my close up.
Yep.
Mr. DeVille.
That's number 7.
Marilyn Monroe.
Star Wars, number 8.
Mm-hmm.
May the Force be with you.
Oh. And you.
All About Eve. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy
ride.
Night. This is night. Taxi Driver. You talking to me?
Oh, such a good movie.
Cool Hand Luke.
Oh,
What we've got here is a failure to communicate.
Nothing from Monty Python.
Number 12, Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. 13, Love Story. Love means never having to
Say you're
sorry.
sorry, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Are we going all the way to 100?
I hope not.
How far you want to go?
No, we're good.
That's all right.
Is there one you want me to look for to see where it
no.
ranks?
No, we don't care anymore.
This is interesting.
That is interesting.
I want to throw out.
But we have a lot on the plate.
I want to just real quick. I want to throw out another like hidden movie thing because I love stuff like this.
Yeah.
I've been like laughing about this for like 2 days when I think about it. It's one of those scenes in movies you don't think about, but in the scene of the Wizard of Oz, it's like right after they get the lion or whatever, or after the wizard tells them they have to go kill Dorothy. There's a cut scene and the Scarecrow's got a revolver. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that or not. Yeah, I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at that. But there's just a small, real quick cut scene.
Like in the actual movie?
In the actual movie. And he's like, we got to kill the Wicked Witch of the West, and the Scarecrow's got a revolver right here in his chest. I've just been laughing so hard
That's
about
hilarious.
that. Like the Scarecrow just
kind of dark.
went gangster.
Can I share a movie?
Sorry, man. Sorry.
A movie? Okay.
Yeah. Space Invaders.
Space Invaders.
Yeah.
When
You
I
ever
think
seen
of
it?
when I think of summer movies around, I think of
that
like
the 80s?
Toy Story and
Yeah.
Kangaroo Jack.
There's a
And
guy
Story
on
for
Facebook
me
friends
is-
with,
Indian in the
he's going through
Cupboard.
all these 80 movies. He keeps
Indian in the
taking
Cupboard.
pictures of all
Yeah.
these old 80 movies, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
That's a great
Who's in
movie.
that
Space
one?
Jam.
Well, remember,
all
I don't know
language
who
in that
was in
movie,
it.
though.
I can't
I
remember.
can't remember.
But
Yeah.
it's a hilarious
I let
movie.
Reg watch it because she loves movies like that, and it cursed like 5 times.
What movie?
Indian in the Cupboard. I loved that book as a kid. Loved it.
That was a
And
classic
it's like
for our family.
I let Reg watch
Same
it
with that
recently. It's
movie.
like,
What's it
they
called?
cursed like 5 times in it.
What's the one called where the girl finds the goose eggs and hatches them, and then she teaches them to fly on an airplane?
Oh, it's about imprinting.
Thumbelina?
Fly Away Home.
Oh,
It's
okay.
about imprinting. I remember
But
watching
there's a scene
this
in that
in
movie where she gets
psychology.
soap in her eye. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It scared me. Anyway, Eric, what were we saying?
You should check out Space Invaders. Though it's a movie that there's aliens that land on the planet. They think they're supposed to destroy the planet, or they try to destroy the planet, but they're a bunch of bumbling idiots. The one
Mars
guy,
attack?
Mars
the one,
attacks.
the one guy, he talks like Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
So his kind of talking patterns like that. So it's just hilarious.
I see here that
think.
has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
That's a
it's-
good
don't
sign.
don't look at that because I'm like, what? It's such a good movie. It's just check it out. It's
Yeah.
like one of those movies just to have a laugh, just to
Yeah.
kind of make fun of.
Do we want to talk about TV shows real quick, and then we'll get to
Sure, I guess.
the special item? What do you mean, sure, I'll guess?
The biggest show I'm looking for is Loki. I am so stoked about Loki.
Loki.
And it disappoints me that you guys didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I did.
You didn't
I
finish
did.
it.
I watched it, and I
Such a
liked it.
disappointment. But Loki, I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm looking
I'm
forward to
so
Loki
stoked.
because I think it's the other movies, and we talked about this in the WandaVision when it's they're spending the money on the TV shows to fill gaps, and so they can push the movies further. But I think Loki is really going to push these next Phase 4 movies further.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do a lot to set those up. So after you watch Loki, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I need to see this next movie to see what's going to happen.
And I
He's
think
such a great character, he's probably my second favorite bad guy in the Marvel universe.
Who's your first?
That's
From England?
That's an actor.
Thanos.
It was Michael B. Jordan playing.
Warmonger.
I just
Yeah,
talked
Loki.
to someone about that the other day.
Loki went to play Thor.
Mine's the
People
dirty
went to
bone.
audition for.
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, I think Thor.
People love Michael B.
That's the right
Jordan
answer.
as the villain, and I thought he was good, but he's not. I just didn't think they flushed that character out of
Oh, really?
me
I thought it was
personally.
good. I liked
But I
it.
think they're bringing him back.
Yeah.
How are they gonna bring him? What?
Well,
Supposedly,
because he was
Voodoo
the Black
in Black
Panther,
Panther
so he
2.
has basically the.
He has. I think it happened in comic from what I read.
Yeah.
He had a salvation moment. Like he came to his senses.
But he's dead.
Well, but
Well-
he was the Black Panther, so his soul resides
He's
with
in
the
that
Panthers.
Panther spiritual world.
Ah.
Eric's gonna like that if that happens.
Yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
seen Dodgeball? And that's where the Panther perfume comes from.
That's,
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that was.
It's not Panther though. I
I
think
thought it
it's.
was Anchorman.
Oh,
Panther?
it is.
Now, Stranger Things.
Is it
come out
I thought it was
summer?
Badger Milk.
It usually airs during the summer.
I think it usually airs in October.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was summer.
That's
Last
a
one
comedy.
did, I
We gotta
think.
watch that one tonight.
I
The
don't have
animal.
That. I don't have that.
I
one.
have it at home.
Oh,
But
geez.
If I were
I think good.
no, sorry, I was about to completely go
No,
another
I
direction.
just think that Loki, dealing with time travel, that he's supposed to go in and fix things. I like that concept. It makes me think of a show that I really like, Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys
we
have checked
talked
it
about
out.
that
shared
last
about
night.
that.
Yeah.
But I like that concept that he goes back in and corrects some of the
Well,
things that have
See,
been
I
wrong.
think going what Dan said, how it's going to launch the next phase, I think it
Yeah.
also is going to help people because they're going to answer some questions from the past. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Before.
Like, did Captain America?
I think he
you know
may
what's
fill in
cool
some
too
blanks.
is
Did he
that they
go
can
back
add
and collect
elements
that?
too because
Fill
they
'em in.
changed the future. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they changed.
Well, yeah, because so like at the end, Captain America suppose he went back because she explained it to Bruce Banner, the supreme
Yeah.
leader. Said, "Well, wait a minute." He said, "Well, if we go back and put him here, then those timelines didn't exist, so those branches didn't happen." So Loki was one of those branches. So did Captain America go back to there to stop Loki from getting that? And then it'd just
Yeah.
be interesting
And-
to see what they do.
And with the whole concept, at least from what I can tell, the way we're seeing, it's presenting a way to where it's leaving the door open for this world to know that anything could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This person doesn't have to die and stay dead.
Yeah.
Like the comics, right? Nothing ever stays the same. They can always find a way to bring back.
Except for
I
Uncle
think-
Ben.
I think this is
No, they'll find a way.
this is opening a door where possibility where they can have different if they want to.
Yeah.
They can reintroduce it.
There's a
somehow.
silver
think
bullet.
that-
I
I
think
think
that's
that-
for-
They're really setting up new Avengers, right?
Right,
a lot
yeah.
of
Yeah.
a lot of what I see they're
New
doing.
Avengers in this new phase coming up.
just like the Patriot. And
Phase 4.
You want to know
Right.
what show I've been watching?
Iron.
Yeah, what are we watching, Logan?
Barney?
I've been watching Gravity Falls, and that show's really good.
Oh, the cartoon. on
never
the
watched
show.
it.
Yeah,
I heard it's good.
that's all I had to say.
A lot of
I'm-
urban legend stuff.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
We're in Squatch
It's
country.
It's so funny.
So I'm excited just summer if you want to talk about TV shows. I usually try to, being off from school, I start staying up later and binge watching stuff I want to catch up on. I'm going to watch through I was kind of hit and miss with the end of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So I would like watch an episode here or there, and like sometimes I think I would miss an episode, like forget where I was at. So I'm going to watch through
There you
like
go.
season 3, 4, and 5 again because I just watched Bad Batch the other day, the first episode of that, and I really liked that. So I liked it. So
It looks good.
I think I'm going to watch through that stuff.
It's just hard. I've watched
and
all
get
of it.
caught up.
I've
It's
never
just
been able to
very-
get through the second
It's
season.
definitely tailored towards a
Kids
younger
at the
audience.
beginning.
So
Right,
There's
it is.
good information, but it's so hard to. I have to watch it and do something else at the same
Same.
time.
I don't like.
too.
I don't like get excited like to watch it,
Exactly.
kind of like I do these newer shows. But I just want to watch through it just to get all the
Yeah,
information.
for
so.
sure.
Switching gears a little bit.
Just
but
spark notes at Dan.
Yeah,
Castlevania. Have you watched that? The
Castle?
cartoon on Netflix.
That's a movie, right?
played the game.
Hotel
it's a game.
Transylvania.
Video game.
It's a-
Oh,
They came out with an
Castlevania.
anime.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
We should watch that sometime.
Yeah, I heard it's really good,
'Cause
really
I heard
violent.
it's really good. Yeah.
And that's up my alley.
Yeah.
Love me some
and
violence.
it's got a castle
Anivania.
Yeah.
like Pennsylvania.
I watched What We Do in the Shadows again not too long ago.
Have you seen that, Dan?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen
yeah,
what
yeah.
We in the Shadows?
The
We'll have to watch
vampire
that
kind of.
Worms and Buscetti.
All right, do we want to
Sure.
we want to dive into this?
Sure.
All right, so
If this goes
la-
badly.
last episode, we were privileged enough to listen to a table read of James Cameron's Titanic. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And instead of listening to one, we're just gonna do one here. So I printed off some scripts. This is from the hit blockbuster film Napoleon Dynamite. So Eric,
How
I'm gonna
much
have
movie
you
did that make?
a lot for
He spent
how
like
much
30 grand of
Yeah,
his own
not
money.
a lot at all.
It's like, would you consider Napoleon Dynamite? I mean, it's a
Is he
no-brainer.
forgotten now?
A cult classic now. Yeah, he's
No, he's not done anything.
Who?
I mean that.
Um,
James Hayter.
yeah. No, I mean, he was in Blades of Glory.
And he did Bench Warmers, which was really funny.
The character
movie.
who plays Kip
Did he
actually
do-
plays Star-Lord in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Did he direct in Nacho?
Nacho Libre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jared Hess. Yeah.
But he hasn't done much from
same
that.
style.
I actually like that one too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
good.
nobody really cared about that one.
I
did
love
they?
Nacho
Get the
Libre.
corn on my face.
I like it when he
That's my
El
favorite
Batista
line.
bombs the chips.
I like when he gets the corn cob to the eye.
I-
That one guy. That was violent when I was a kid.
Sorry,
All right. Anyway,
I
Eric,
saw
I'm
that.
going to have you play Grandma/Deb.
Okay.
Deb.
Your lines are highlighted, and just for some background, Grandma, she's a road woman. You know, she's
pretty
she's
rogue.
a smoker.
She's pretty
got a
butch,
mullet.
too.
Trailer
She's a
Park
butch.
Queen.
Yeah.
So, and then Deb, you remember Deb, the girl that's selling the
She's got
key
the
change. She's
pigtail
got
on
the
the
one
side of her
pigtail.
head.
She's just a girly girl. Sorry,
Excuse
I'm
you,
choked
man.
up.
So I'm doing both parts.
Kind of quiet. Yes.
Oh, gee.
So,
Don't worry, they don't speak at the
I
same
trust you.
time.
I hope not.
Logan, I will be giving you Napoleon. Because me and
Star.
Logan did some practices when I printed these off, and absolutely nailed it. Really impressed me. And then I'll be taking Kip just because I'm his brother and he doesn't have a ton of lines. And then Dan, this one's a lot, man.
All right.
This is Rex.
You're
I'm
the
gonna try.
llama.
I'm gonna try,
Rex
man.
You're
Kwon
Tina.
Do. So we're
Okay,
gonna
I'll
go
get it,
through as fast as we can. We're gonna go through two scenes. The one scene is a scene right when Napoleon gets back from school after the chap lips thing. Adam's gonna be narrator, by the way.
You ever took it on sweet dreams?
And Grandma's
I'm
here.
narrator.
Yes, I spelled that wrong, probably. So Dan, here's Rex.
All right, man.
Oh, and
Kip.
I must be Napoli's then.
So Adam, we're gonna start at line 18 on page 7, and we'll just go until the Lord stops us. All right, let's get into character.
All right.
Napoleon's kitchen, afternoon. An early 1970s style living area, Kip sits in the computer in the living room. Napoleon stands behind the computer and drinks a glass of Kool-Aid. Grandma, a butch, round, mulleted woman wearing chums on her glasses, walks in. She clears her throat.
How was school?
Come on, Logan, get in character, man. You're not there yet. You just got bullied at school. Come on.
The worst day of my life. What do you think?
Well, I want you to go and see if Tina wants some of this.
She sets the casserole tray on the table.
Kip hasn't done flipping anything today.
Look, tonight, me and
She notices Kip on the computer not paying attention.
Kip, listen.
He turns and faces her.
What?
Tonight, me and your Aunt Caroli
Caroline?
No, it's perfect. It's Caroli.
Aunt Corolla.
are going to visit some friends.
And Uncle
And
Honda.
we are going to be back till tomorrow. We're getting a little low on the steak. And so I've got Lily coming over tomorrow to
wild.
To take care of it.
take care of it. This is my first reading.
Well, what is there to eat?
Oh, knock it off, Napoleon. Make yourself a dang
Quesadilla.
quesadilla.
Fine.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Grandma pulls out her keys and leaves. Napoleon glares at Kip.
Stay home and eat all the freaking chips.
Napoleon, I've been online chatting with babes all day. Besides, I'm trained to become a cage fighter.
Since when, Kip? You have the worst reflexes of all time.
Try and hit me, Napoleon.
What?
Kip stands up.
Try and hit me. Come on.
You're such an idiot.
No. Napoleon swings at Kip. He blocks it. The doorbell rings. Napoleon relaxes his stance.
I'll get it.
Napoleon quickly slaps Kip in the face. Oh. Napoleon leaves. Napoleon's house, afternoon. Deb, a short, plain girl with a big hair,
This is your character.
wearing a homemade pink shirt with fake rubies glued to it, stands at the front door with several caboodles and a flyer in hand. Napoleon opens the door. Deb looks at her feet.
Hello. Would you like to look at this?
She hands him a sample glamour shot photo of a young woman wearing a denim jacket with her collars flipped up and frizzled out hair. She is cross-eyed and looking over her shoulder.
Because right now, For a limited time, glamour shots by Deb are 75% off.
I already get my hair cut at Cut and Growl.
Well,
This is such a genius
maybe
script.
you would be interested in some
Handicrafts.
handicraft.
Interior Napoleon's living room, afternoon. Kip is watching TV. A poorly produced commercial for Rex Kwon Do self-defense comes on. Rex, a pasty man with a gut, wearing hammer pants and amber gradient glasses, stands in front of a dojo.
I'm Rex, founder of the Rex Kwon Do self-defense system. After 1 week training with me in my dojo, you'll be prepared to protect yourself with the strength of a grizzly,
A shot of Rex getting kicked fiercely in the groin.
the reflexes of a puma,
Shot of Rex slapping a gun out of a hand.
and the wisdom of a man.
Shot of Rex putting on an older woman in a headlock. Rex is standing in front of the dojo again.
Come in today for your free trial lesson.
The address appears. Kip writes it down. Exterior, Napoleon's house, afternoon. Deb is still showing Napoleon her homemade crafts.
And here we have a bungle doogle. A must-have for the season's fashion.
I already made a video of those at South Camp.
Deb looks at the ground.
Well, is anyone else here? I'm trying to earn money for college.
Your mom goes to college.
Exterior, Napoleon's house, afternoon. Deb looks past Napoleon, reacting to Kip. She begins to shake as if to cry. She looks up at Napoleon, puts her hand over her mouth, and runs away. Leaving her caboodles behind, Napoleon stands confused. He closes the door.
Is that caboose?
You're having
Exterior.
trouble with that word, aren't you?
Napoleon's backyard, afternoon. Napoleon stands looking into a fenced yard.
Tina, you fat lord, come get some dinner.
A mangy-looking llama prances over toward Napoleon. Napoleon is disgusted, but hand feeds a casserole to it. Exterior, Napoleon's house, afternoon. Kip sits in front of the steps of the house, putting on his rollerblades. He wears a sleeveless T-shirt and a pair of sweatpants. Napoleon approaches him and stops with the casserole dish in hand. Kip looks up and notices him, and as he lashes his blades.
Napoleon, I need you to pull me into town.
Napoleon scowls.
That was so good.
Exterior, neighborhood street, afternoon. Napoleon is riding a girl's 10-speed bike. Kip is on his rollerblades being pulled with a rope. Interior, Rex Dojo, afternoon. Rex, the same self-defense instructor wearing USA hammer pants and amber gradient glasses, stands in front of the class. He sounds like a pro wrestler.
I don't care what they say. If I'm going to attack a young pretty woman, a little freaking pepper spray and a kick to my groin isn't going to do anything. My name is Rex, and if you sign up for my 8-week program, you will learn the self-defense system I developed after fighting for 2 seasons in the octagon. It's called Rex Kwon Do. People may ask themselves, what about judo? What about kung fu? Well, I'm going to show you right now that these 2 systems don't got jack on the Rex Kwon Do. I need a volunteer.
Napoleon and Kip are standing in class. Kip raises his hand.
I can do it.
All right, you, get up here. Bow to your sensei.
Kip stands, walks to Rex, and bows.
Now, grab my arm. Other arm. Now watch. Is what you're going to do is break the wrist and walk away. Break the wrist and walk away.
Rex does a bunk move and jerks his arm loose.
It's just that simple. Now, try to kick me.
Kip hesitates.
Come on, kick me.
Kip kicks softly. Rex blocks it with his shin.
Do it again.
Kip kicks. Rex blocks.
Do it again.
Kip kicks. Rex blocks.
Do it again.
Kip kicks. Rex blocks. Rex turns to class.
You'll block it every time. Have a seat.
Kip sits down by Napoleon.
Now, on top of what you just saw, here's a small sample of the things you will learn if you sign up for my 8-week program. First off, in Rex Kwon Do, we use the buddy system. No more flying solo. What you gonna do when you get jumped because you're wearing a pair of blue British Knights on someone else's turf?
Napoleon raises his eyebrows in agreement.
You need someone watching your back at all times because jujitsu don't work in gangbang. Second off, my pupils will learn to discipline their image. Do you think I got where I am today because I dressed like Peter Pan over here?
He points to Napoleon. Napoleon shamefully turns his head to see if anyone else is looking at him.
Don't say.
Well, no. Do you people see what I'm wearing? Do you think someone wants to get a roundhouse kick in the face while I'm wearing these bad boys?
He grabs the sides of his hammer pants. Napoleon shakes his head in agreement.
Forget about it. And last off, you'll learn to get self-respect. Do you think anyone thinks I'm a failure because I got Starla to go home to at night?
Points to a picture of Starla on the wall. She is a tough bodybuilder, American gladiator-looking woman with a muscular neck, super tan skin, and big bleached hair.
Muscular
She
neck.
also sports a forced smile.
Forget about it. Now, for only $300, I can sign you up right now for my full 8-week program.
Exterior neighborhood street, evening. Napoleon rides a girl's 10-speed. Kip is being tugged with a rope on his rollerblades.
Well, that place was a ripoff. All right, let's end there. Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
Oh
Oh, man,
man.
that was the last page, too.
First of all, I would like to say that is a genius script and movie.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So like even just reading it as many times as I've seen that movie, it just makes me laugh.
And it makes you appreciate how little things that the actors did in to just like because I added some stuff because I remember from the movie that's
Yeah.
not in the script. Just like Napoleon, like he says that before like every line.
Yeah.
So good.
What I want to point out is that how Napoleon is by far the main character and how little he says, and it's
know.
still
Yeah.
like just the way he's
Well,
just
that's like his
walking
character.
around.
He's just like most of his roles, just like
Now-
the weird dorky actions he does.
My memory's fuzzy, but didn't this get written? Didn't he write this or something like that?
I think Jared Hess wrote it, the director.
But no, I know what it was. The actor playing Napoleon only did it for like $1,000.
Yeah, like he did it for super
James-
cheap.
Is James? I keep wanting to say James Heater, but I don't think that's
It's
right.
something
Heater, yeah.
If you're
That's
listening,
what it
if
was.
we're listening, we love your movie. We'd love for you to come on the podcast and
John
talk to
Heder.
it.
John
John Heder.
Heder.
We'd love for you to come on the podcast and talk to us about
Dude,
the movie.
get on here. That'd be so awesome.
That'd be
Next,
awesome.
we'll do follow along him. We'll do bench warmers.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Napoleon, okay. There was a weird like time just in like the world where everybody quoted Napoleon Dynamite. Everyone
yeah.
had the vote for Pedro shirts. It was like a style.
Well, and let me
That's
let-
impressive.
and,
Hammer Pants,
and I'll
Hammer
even
Pants tried to make a comeback.
I'll even tell you now, it is popular now. Like people, like 5th and 6th grade kids are rediscovering it because
Yeah.
we have kids at our school that have Vote for Pedro's shirts. I was just in a classroom probably a month ago, and I stood in the classroom for like 5 minutes, and me and this girl just quoted lines back and forth
Really?
from the movie,
Now-
and we were talking about how funny it was.
Isn't the dance a Fortnite
yeah,
move?
Some
That
of it is, I
dance
think.
was huge.
What dance is not in Fortnite?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but a lot of these kids probably don't realize that's from Napoleon Dynamite,
Yeah.
or
you like do a
most
dance on your
associated
own
with.
and get on Fortnite.
See,
next
I-
day. It's like on there.
But I just think that's what's so great about comedy, especially, is the simplicity of
Yeah.
things. Sometimes are hysterical. Sometimes even like what's not said is hysterical. That's I always go to The Office, but that's what sometimes makes The Office so good. Is because of just the little tiny Jim's facial
Yeah.
movements
Yeah.
and what the way Dwight says, like. Like I quote the scene all the time, but that episode where Pam's upset because Jim's dating someone else and she's crying in the office, and Dwight comes out and he's like,
Your PMS
he's
is
like,
real bad.
yeah, but before that, and it's so simple, but it just makes me laugh. He's like, what's wrong with you? He goes, did someone hurt you? Where is he?
yeah.
And for those of you that can't see, he like puts his hands to his side and looks around like he's on the attack. You
He's
know what
looking
I mean?
all around
And that's,
the room,
That's
yeah.
just comedy genius
Dude,
because you don't have to
for
have
real.
these huge
Dialogue.
dialogues. Sometimes just simplicity.
Well,
simplicity
Dude,
things
I
are
think
funny.
that I'd say that comedy movies and TV shows are probably the hardest to write
Yeah.
ever. I mean, because you can write an action movie, awesome action scenes, but there's a kind of little writing that goes into that. That's like choreography and stuff. And drama stuff, I mean, that's hard, but you don't have to calculate what's going to be funny to an audience, what's going to translate well from a script.
Well,
And this,
See, I'm a big physical comedy guy
Well,
too.
yeah.
So like
Yeah,
even
we
even
know.
The Office, yeah,
know.
yeah.
We
even
know.
The Office, I love Dwight's scares.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know, like just he when Angela comes up there, or someone comes
Oh,
up
yeah.
there, he jumps
out of left field,
It's that
physical comedy.
physical
It
stuff
just
of
I
it.
love that. So you don't have to have necessarily the right words,
Yeah.
even, but just physical comedy.
I mean, yeah, go back to like the 30s and Three Stooges, like the invention
Yeah.
of slapstick comedy. I mean, somebody getting bashed over the head with a 2x4, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, well,
Well, Adam
But that's why
Farnsworth
it's
over
funny.
here.
Dick
when
Van
we were
Dyke.
watching,
Oh, yeah.
Big, I love
we
it.
were watching Spaceballs, and they have that camera that zooms in
Oh,
and then
man.
it hits
Yeah.
him in the face.
Going in a deep monologue, and it just keeps zooming in and just knocks him out.
it's just
I've
ironic.
never seen
like
Adam
things,
laugh harder in my whole life.
he like ran around the building and just screaming.
No, I just collapsed on the floor. That's all I did.
Oh man, so good.
That's a great movie.
Oh my gosh.
That has to be probably the most surprisingly best movie. I don't know how you categorize
Yeah.
that, but like, the movie that probably nobody thought would be good at
Spaceballs?
all. Well,
Napoleon
Dynamite.
Okay, yeah.
I would say, because I think Spaceballs kind of had Rick
Yeah.
Moranis in it, so people probably thought it was okay. But
Yeah.
I love that movie.
See,
anyways,
I
too.
recently on YouTube, I don't know if it was recently released, but it was behind the scenes footage of them filming this scene. And it was like Jared Hess, the director, obviously Napoleon Kip
Yeah.
and the grandma or whatever, and just like one camera guy and like just a house.
Yeah.
Like it's super low budget. Like they probably had worse equipment than we use for this podcast,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh yeah.
Like it's crazy. And they just nailed it and made millions.
That's
and
so good.
Makes you wonder what the heck we're doing with our.
The actors get any extra money with its success or
Oh,
not?
I'm
don't
sure
know
they
how
still
that
get
works.
residuals off of
Yeah,
it.
they
actors
probably.
do?
Jeez, yeah.
I'd say when they signed up for the movie, they said that you're gonna get $1,000 to act in it, and then probably residuals.
Because people are still buying it. People
Oh,
are still
yeah.
downloading it. I mean, like I say, kids now are watching it again. They're discovering
I mean,
it.
it re-released on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like when I say not too long ago, like probably like within the last 10 years, but still, or not within 10 years, probably 5 years actually.
Talk about a
Is
gold
Monty
mine, though.
Python
Yeah.
another low budget movie that was successful?
think
'Cause you
those
remember,
guys-
think about
yeah.
how low budget it was.
I
'cause
don't
they
think
couldn't
Monty
afford-
Python was that. Well, I know
Well,
they couldn't afford a lot of things,
horses.
but
I mean, they just
not
couldn't afford
nearly
even
as low
horses.
budget as
Yeah.
Napoleon
Yeah.
That's,
Dynamite.
They
that's
had,
what I
like-
love though, because the coconuts came from the idea that they didn't have enough money
Yeah.
for horses. So what could they do?
Simply the setting for Monty Python had to be super expensive,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, but those
And
guys
costumes
but
and stuff.
When they started doing their sketch comedy stuff, they were just a local comedy
Yeah.
group basically that was doing that sketch. Because I don't know if you guys ever watched their sketch comedy stuff. They just had like little, almost like Mr. Bean kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Some of it was kind of inappropriate. too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did have some over the top stuff, but some of their stuff's really good. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, that's the simple things in life I just find are just fun. I mean, there's just things that can be funny.
Mr.
so.
Bean probably doesn't have much of a budget either. Probably did.
No, and I love Mr. Bean. I think he is hysterical.
Yeah.
And that's another great example of just physical comedy where you don't have to say
Yeah.
He's just
a
super
lot.
talented.
Just the way he does.
physical.
There's
comedian.
You're right, because he's the main character, but he doesn't really say a whole lot.
No.
Most of the time, he doesn't
just
say
says
anything.
Bean. Says his name or whatever. That
I wonder if that inspired Napoleon Dynamite. So
I don't know.
I'd say so.
That-
That is a good question. What inspired this? Honestly, I feel like I've read that just his hometown inspired him, Jared Hess. Because I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if he
it's
filmed this in his
set in
hometown.
that like rural, like
Just like-
Idaho or
exactly.
Iowa. You know what I mean?
did
Yeah.
you say you used to do that with too, where you threw out your?
Oh yeah.
action
Oh, we
figure,
did that because
let it drive
my
the
dad
bus?
had truck all the time, and we rode in the back of the truck all the
Oh,
time.
so you didn't do it in the bus? it was
No,
the
we did in the back of
truck.
the truck. We lift the tailgate, like the topper hood or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, and we'd throw like He-Man and stuff out and drag them along the road down
We
the
did
highway.
that.
and
In
stuff.
the, we did
We
that
did
in
that
church
all
van,
the
too.
time. The church
Poor
van.
guy.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
See if He-Man survived 2 blocks.
I wonder if the original's still out there for like millions.
With the toy, it's probably something.
I'm
Actually, they're making a new He-Man cartoon for Netflix. I think.
I've said it before, and I say it like probably 2 or 3 times a year. In my parents' attic, we still have the original Castle Grayskull.
Why don't you bring that stuff in?
Original like all the He-Man characters, the Transformers, the silver dinosaur
Dude,
Transformers.
let's plan a play date.
I mean, and I've looked one time in the attic, but it was like summertime. And it was like 110 degrees up in there, crawling through the attic. I was like, I'm
yeah.
done. I found a few old boxes of stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, but they're up in the attic as long as
No
they're
one
not chewed
beats
up, but-
Jeff with the G.I. Joe shit.
Oh, I know, that's sweet.
Backtrack a little bit if you guys want to know. According to IMDb, I don't know what these letters mean, but for Monty Python, the budget, I think, is at $229,575.
yeah.
Bigger budget.
That seems like a lot for back then.
Yeah.
But cumulative worldwide gross, $1,940,906.
That's it.
Cumulative gross.
All right, Eric. Oh, is that it? I have that much on me right now.
It doesn't seem. Yeah,
Well,
That's
it doesn't seem
on
like a lot, 'cause
IMDb.
some- I
Yeah.
mean,
You're
some
right.
movies are making billions of dollars.
That's
I
on
mean,
IMDb.
it is a cult
I don't know.
classic.
What's
Like,
the
I
budget
mean-
for? Just humor me. What's the budget for Avatar?
Oh, it's billions. Almost.
I had someone the other day tell me I was talking about Avatar. It was a student at school, and we talk about stuff a lot, and he said in his opinion Avatar was the most overhyped movie of all time. I was like, "Are you serious, man?"
Okay, here's the budget for Napoleon Dynamite.
You serious, man?
A lot bigger than I thought.
It's all
$400,000.
I always heard I always heard and read that they made it for like under 100 grand.
237 million
They may have filmed it for under 100 grand
estimated.
or something like that.
But the post editing and everything.
Editing,
Well, that's true.
advertising and stuff. But it
That
made.
seems like a lot, though,
I just saw it. It
for a
made
small movie.
worldwide box office $46 million.
Wow.
Domestic box office $44 million. So
Interesting.
still compared though. it's
Yeah,
still-
so Avatar.
yeah. John Heater was paid $1,000 to
Yeah.
play it.
Avatar is estimated at 237 million, with a cumulative worldwide gross of 2,847,246,203.
Wow.
So it gives you some
pretty
perspective
penny.
there.
I bet you animated movies are the most expensive.
Oh, I mean,
Well, the
anything-
animation.
Depends.
Logan, what
It
was the
depends.
budget for my short film that we did?
It was like
It was like $8.
Where how'd
'cause
you
I
start
thought it
like
was
on
like
campus?
3 Red Bull and a couple candy bars.
Well, you got to do the price of your camera.
Yeah, no, I literally
Bare
just
minimum.
forced Logan to
Pack of Duracell batteries.
act.
How much was the retreat video where the person was underneath the bed?
Oh well,
That was free.
I mean, how much did the retreat cost?
well.
He
Like
worked,
$90?
He worked for a car
No.
ride home back to church.
Gosh. All right, we want to move into
Sure.
wrapping this up. Thanks for doing the
Well-
script. That was
That was hysterical.
freaking love that.
What I want to share today is John 3:16. As I was thinking about,
A
as
classic.
we think about summer, how can we share our faith? And if you think about John 3:16, there's like 5 words that we could highlight, and so that's what I thought we could talk about. So I'll read it, and then we'll kind of break it down.
Yeah.
How's that sound good?
Sounds good
So,
to me.
for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So the first word I want to highlight is God so loved. So in other words, God loved us. God cares about us. God created all of us. So I guess the word we should focus on is loved, that you're loved, that you're cared about, that God has value in you. And so sharing these 5 words, the first word, sharing love, that God cares for every single person out there. And how do we know that? The next word is that the world. It isn't certain for a certain group of people. It's for everyone. It wasn't just for the Jews. It wasn't just for the Middle East. There are people that lived in the Middle East. It was for the entire world. And so the next word is what I want to highlight is at the end, it's life. The fact that Jesus came to give you life.
Yeah.
For eternal life, and that's a big thing. That we don't have to face death in the sense of our spirit. Yeah, we'll face a physical death, but there's an eternal life if we choose it. And the next word I'd like to share would be to believe. And belief and faith is the key to our faith. It's not about works. It's not about all the good you can do in your life. It's about having faith in Christ. And that's really the next word is the Son, to focus on Jesus, that he is the source. And the Bible teaches us that if you have the Son, you have everything. That Jesus is everything that kind of comes into who God is and who God is, what is God about, Jesus fulfills. So if you have Jesus, if you have the Son, you have everything.
Yeah.
So it's having faith in him, understanding that the world, that he loves the whole world, that each one of us have this opportunity, and that God cares, that God values each one of us. And so many people out there in the world, probably have heard John 3:16, have talked about
Or
it.
seen it written on basketball shoes.
Yeah, seen it on
Or a
written
sign.
basketball
Yeah.
shoes or signs
Yeah.
and sporting events. But what if we took the opportunity to dive deeper with people and share the hope that we have,
Yeah.
and look at John 3:16, taking it apart and sharing about how people can have life and how he came to show us all love, show the whole world that love, and then introducing people to his Son, Jesus. So that's just some things I thought about for today.
Yeah. No. It's,
And just while we're on that topic, how has it been for you? I know Logan has had his T-shirt company, which was trying to invite people to have conversations more with the gospel. Have you had a recent opportunity to share with somebody the gospel, and how did it go?
I have not recently.
Not recently, not within the last year or 2 years.
Then that, yes, within the last year, but it's just,
Yeah.
that's just a matter of me thinking back to the situation.
It's kind of hard when you go to a Christian school.
That's also true.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like different aspects you can hit though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, sharing the gospel doesn't necessarily mean sharing the gospel to someone that has never heard it before. I mean, I
Yeah,
know
definitely.
with my job right now, I've noticed a few people that are Christians, and I'm still like the new guy. Like, I don't talk to a ton of people for multiple reasons. I'm mainly just because I hate the job. But it was cool because there was this guy who was driving this truck to bring this copier somewhere. But when we got there, I'd kind of like worked with him, talking to him for a few weeks, and he was like, "I feel like I've seen you somewhere," and I was like, "Yeah, I haven't seen you anywhere. I don't know if I've ever seen you before." And like he was like, "I don't know what it is. Maybe you just look familiar, or for some reason." And then early on in that day, he was like, "Do you go to Porterfield?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "That's crazy because our church recently went to the
Retreat.
yeah
Uh-huh.
at Porterfield, and he was a youth pastor for the Vine. Is that what it's called? That church.
It was Pine Grove.
Pine Grove. Rooted.
Rooted.
He went to Pine Grove. He was like, "That's where I've seen you. I saw you on stage singing with that band." And then we just got to talking about stuff,
cool.
and it was really awesome. Like, he was talking about how he started to be a youth pastor because his kid had autism, and he was starting to he was trying to get him into youth, and how awesome that was. And he went to the retreat to be with him. So yeah, it was awesome talking to him. And this job also has kind of given me just the, not necessarily opportunity, because we've given the opportunity a lot, just to like obviously show my faith through action.
Yeah.
But it's also been a challenge just to realize how hard that is sometimes, just with like the talk and stuff I'm around. So I guess this job in some ways has just kind of trained me and honed me in that, just because, I mean, a lot of times I'm in an environment where not a lot of Christian stuff's being talked about. And I'm just like, man, it's tough sometimes. Like, if you're in the middle of telling a story and someone takes it one way or whatever, but
Well, I think what you're saying is very important, is for us to demonstrate it, live out our faith,
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
And I think it's also important to, if you're in an environment like that and you realize that there's another Christian that may be also going through the same thing, to like let them know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've been trying to do, just being like, "Oh yeah, I go to church too. Like, I'm involved in youth." And
I think
stuff
the
like
biggest
that.
thing too is for people, for all of us, to pray for God to give us opportunity,
Oh, yeah.
give us doors.
mm-hmm.
When I worked at the Children's Home Society, and God gave me opportunities to share with some teens there, and actually lead a few to Christ.
Yeah.
It was such a cool feeling knowing that, I was able to lead somebody to Christ. I remember we were in the rec room. They had like a little pool table and video games type stuff in there, and I actually shared with a teen there, and they accepted Christ right there in that
Oh
game
wow.
room.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for all of us, and I think it's very important for us, is to make sure we keep the gospel in mind, because that's why we're here. We're here to bear witness of Christ. And like you're saying, I don't think that sometimes we can't always spell it out for people,
Yeah.
but we can always point the way.
Yeah.
We can always share the hope that we have in Christ, and that could lead to an opportunity. And the one thing I want to share with people is that it's God working in you and through you. And so you don't have to do it all, but you do have to just share the experience that you've had with Christ.
Yeah.
And God will help you with that. And so sometimes let's not take for granted John 3:16,
Oh, yeah.
because it is a powerful verse. And this is the words Jesus spoke. It's not somebody writing about Jesus. Jesus actually says these words.
Oh yeah.
It's Jesus' words. As he was talking to Nicodemus about being born again, he's saying, these things. Let me just read it one more time, and then I'll lead into verse 17, and then we can let Dan talk for a second, because I didn't give him a chance to say anything.
okay.
Not allowed.
So, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. And so I just, I just think it's awesome how Jesus is saying those words.
Yeah.
If you look in your Bible and you see the red letters,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is actually making that statement to Nicodemus about himself.
Yeah.
And what more what more worthwhile thing that you could do with your life than leading somebody else to Christ?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's one thing that I pray for our local church here, and I pray for all of you guys that are listening, whatever church you attend. We need to make sure we're sharing the gospel because it's the life changer. It's what makes the difference. We have a mission statement here: love and lead into a life-changing relationship with Christ. Well, the change part, it only comes from the gospel.
Yeah.
Jesus is what makes the difference. So Dan, what do you have to say?
Well, you know how it goes.
Can you say it in the Rex Kwon Do voice?
Well, no, I think that would probably ruin it. But I was thinking the last conversation I had with someone was with someone who believes, but I don't know, where they're. I don't know where they are in terms of their relationship with Christ, and we were just talking about just the world, just the status of the world, and that's kind of how God leads things in. You never start a conversation with someone about the Bible. You start just talking about life, and it leads to that, and that was our conversation, and that's kind of what I left that person with, and that whatever happens is going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it, but at the end of the day, you just have to make sure you're right with God. That's what's most important, and that for me, that was just kind of encouraging to have that conversation with that person, just because, and they agree with me that's really what's important, and so that kind of made me feel good about that person and their situation. But, I think that's what's so great about Christ is that, his life and his spirit in us is so powerful, and people see it, but, we don't realize it. It's kind of like that thing where, you might have new shoes or whatever, and you don't think it's that great, but people see that. They realize it. People see things about us that we don't see. You know what I mean? And so you don't have to beat people over the head with it. I don't have to go to work and just start convicting people. You look at what Jesus did. There are so many people in the Bible that were not expecting an encounter with Jesus. You know what I mean? The woman at the well wasn't at the well saying, "Oh, well, I'm here, but I know I'm going to meet Jesus." All the people who wanted, most people didn't even know who he was. They just heard about this guy, and I heard he's feeding people too, So but when they met him and they experienced what he had, it was life-changing. And I think for us as Christians, people know if you're living your life out for Christ, the way you conduct yourself, the way you talk to people at work, the way you treat your coworkers, just with kindness, with love. When you have opportunities to say something hurtful to someone, when they said it to you, people are watching you. And I know in youth we used to tell kids that all the time, but even as adults, people are watching you. And I can't tell you how many times I've had people come to me, and they didn't ask if I was a Christian, but they would come to me and start talking about church stuff or family issues or spiritual issues, and they just knew. They just knew, and I never had to tell them that. And I didn't do anything spectacular, but people, that's the Holy Spirit living in us, right?
Yeah.
And the Bible talks about that people will see that. I think Paul was talked about that people will see that. And so I just think that should be an encouragement to us, is that, like you said, God's going to provide you opportunities to plant and water a seed. I pray that every morning. That's one of my prayers is, God, let me say or do something today that might plant or water a seed just to point somebody towards you. Not to say something about me, but maybe I could be that one watering that this person needs today, and they'll get another one next week, and eventually I played a part in them finding God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I just think it's important for us to remember.
Well, and I think, I love this whole imagery that Jesus says, "I'm being lifted up." And that's even in that same chapter that Jesus says, "I'm being lifted up like the snake that Moses lifted up."
Yeah.
And I think we shared it last week. But this whole idea of lifting Jesus up, it's like if you have anything in front of you that you lift up in your life, it comes out eventually.
Yeah.
Like Monster drinks or,
Those are,
like whatever you drink,
Not a
that comes out
sponsor.
of, people know that I love Diet Pepsi. Why? Because it's there. It sits in front of them. People will probably know I'm a Steeler fan because it comes out of me, right?
Yeah.
the things you love come out of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Then if you lift Jesus up in your life, if you put Jesus in first place, then at some point it's got to ooze out.
Yeah, oh,
Right?
for sure.
And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to think about. It's like if Jesus is my passion, then I want to let him come out in my life somehow. You know, through my actions, through my words, through the way I treat people, through the way my life is set up. You know, I'm looking to him. I'm seeking him.
For sure.
I did have a good conversation recently, but I guess in the light of all of us talking about like life and it leading
Yeah.
into something like that, I was playing pickup basketball at Civitan Park with my old high school buddies, and there was good conversation there. So I wasn't thinking, and I was thinking of like sitting down and walking through the steps.
Yeah.
and-
Oh, sorry. No. It could be just
No,
side
I get-
conversations.
mhm,
Yeah.
Yep. But
And
yeah,
sometimes you never know where they lead.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Or what
it's
they're
those
going to do
little
after.
comments.
Yeah.
And I love the feeling sometimes when God opens a door like that, you feel his presence in you, and it's like you're not even really speaking too much. It's like God's just giving you the words
Yeah.
to say at the moment to
But-
encourage somebody.
But I mean, that's real life. But I mean, if there's a reason why people, when they're in trouble or they're afraid or they don't know what to do or they're having thoughts, there's a reason why they seek out people that they think are
Yeah.
Christians.
Oh, yeah.
They're not seeking out the
Because
the
they know.
druggie. They're not seeking out the person who doesn't have their life. You know what I mean? I mean, even just people, like I said, it's nothing that I do, but, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, he's married, he's got a kid, he seems pretty stable. You know what I mean? That might be somebody that I can, there must be something about that person.
it's
And it's nothing, I don't do anything.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Everyone flocked to church because that's just like they instinctively knew that that's a safe place they needed to go. And that same kind of reaction can happen with you if you kind of show the people around you that, like what Eric said, if God's pouring out of you, people may seek you just for help or advice, and that's an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, I remember doing the podcast about why do filmmakers go towards the story of the Bible as a rubric, and why do they use Christian motifs and everything? Think of Lord of the Rings, like the Fellowship of the Ring, you know, talking about
Superman.
like the church, talking about like Narnia having such a good. It was a successful movie just because it followed such a routine biblical.
I even think about statements that are made in movies like Jonah and the Whale,
Yeah.
or Jonah and the Fish, actually. But anyhow, in Avengers, you know, Tony talks about that. I just think that's interesting
Did you
that
ever
there's
read the story of
these references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because they know it kind of hits home.
but to me, and not to be theological or whatever, but I think that goes back to when God created man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When God created man, he breathed he breathed his life into us. And I know Pastor Rob used to talk an awful lot, and I always loved when he preached about how our breath, like when we breathe, it's basically us speaking Yahweh, God's name. Like our breath, just like this song, our breath it's like, I think of like water. All the water in the world, there's only so much water. So like you could be drinking, this could be made from water that the dinosaurs drank. You know what I mean? If you think about it, because there's only so much water. It just keeps getting recycled. Our breath is God's breath. And those people, when they're down and out, they're strung out after 9/11, why did they run back to God? Because there's something inside of them, I guess like Lord of the Rings, the one ring wants to return to his master.
Yeah.
I think there's something, I believe there's something inside of every human being that's born, regardless of where you live, that draws you back to God. It draws you to your creator. And I think as we keep watering and planting those seeds, I think that brings us back to Christ.
So it's like kind of how people are so quick to acknowledge that there's evil and like there's demons and there's like ghosts and whatever. They
There
like
is
the
no God.
evil presence, but then they're like, yeah, there's no way there's a God. Like there's no way there's God.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's very interesting because that's something that's built into them. They know that there's a good and evil presence, but it's just people. It's the evil presence doing the devil's good at his job. It's safe to say that.
Manipulator.
And I think it should just give us all hope that Jesus didn't, you know, the last part of verse 17, that Jesus came not to condemn the world, but to save it.
Yeah.
You know, that was Jesus' mission was to save us all.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, that sums up why he came.
For sure.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. That was a pretty good episode. Thanks for listening to our script reading. I love that.
Can you end with a show with like a little Napoleon Dynamite.
You want to do the outro in my Kip voice?
Yeah.
Keep me a sec. Thank you guys so much for watching. I guess we'll do this again next week. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, leave something in the comments, I guess. Bye.
Kip, get off the phone. I gotta talk to my sweet babe.
Shut up, Napoleon.
Peace.
Peace.